Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry, Mike call signs, Kilo 7, Hotel November. I'd like to welcome you from around the world back to the shack. This is Ham Radio Live. I'd like to ask you to please hit the subscribe button. That subscribe button makes a big difference because, you know, when you're watching the show and all of a sudden they get to the good part and then it's a commercial, you don't want that. So we don't monetize here. We're just trying to help people to get their ham license and get themselves on the air. That's the whole point. Plus, folks that are in ham radio to find out about some great, cool products that will help them do really well. Got one of those today. Plus, have a great antenna story for you to share. That is absolutely the ultimate monster antenna. You won't believe it. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 15th day of March, 2021. Welcome to the show. Great to see you guys. Going to work on general exam questions today. We haven't done those for a while. Want to make sure we get to those. Also, we're going to work on a product, show you real quick, a product that we're going to be testing this week for the Yaesu FTDX10. It's going to help you be able to use something like an XLR mic if you want to run nice audio like through, say, an RE27 or a 327. You can do that through the RJ45 connector that's on the Yaesu FTDX10. We'll talk about that on the show as well today. I'd like to welcome you from around the world for coming, and thank you for being here. Also, quickly, want to say thank you. There were a lot of folks that donated money via my PayPal account yesterday, and I was humbled by that. You need to understand, that's very sincere. Folks, thank you very much. You also need to know I refunded every penny. The reason why, I think I've got things fixed. I really do. I think everything's fixed on the computer. I believe I've got everything wiped clean, so we're good. I think we're going to be okay. And but the point is, the folks who donated, thank you. I mean, the kindness just blew me away, and I just sincerely want to tell you how much it meant to me. Thank you for that. Please don't worry about donating anything right now. I think we can make it work, okay? I do have a question, though. I'd like to get your feedback. I firmly believe that ham radio right now is really in a very special place in terms of the quality of transceivers that we have available. There's some great stuff out there. All the way from the, say, for example, you want to buy an ICOM 7300, right? FTDX10, maybe it's a Yaesu FTDX 5000 or a ICOM 7610, could be the Kenwood 890S or the 990S, the Elecraft K4, the Flex series 6400, 66, 6700, the Apache Labs and Nons. There's so many great ham radios out there. Things that were like, I guess, like futuristic, like even 10 years ago, are out right now. So part of what I really want to convey on this channel to help people, because it really is about helping people to get into ham radio, okay? This is so important to me, is to show, first of all, I'm not brand loyal to anybody. We're not sponsored by a single person. I do reviews for MFJ, and I'll tell you what I think, like them or not. I'll tell you the honest truth. However, when it comes to transceivers, I'd like to get it clear that I got 3 Yaesus here, but it doesn't mean I'm a Yaesu fan. It doesn't mean I'm only a Yaesu guy. You've heard the show yesterday. You'd find out I talked really well about the ICOM 7300, right? So, I mean, it's not like I'm just brand loyal. I've got the ICOM 7300 here. However, there's a niche that we're still missing on the channel. I'd like to get your feedback, okay? I would like to have a Kenwood on the channel because Kenwood makes such legendary transceivers, fantastic sound, really good, well known for their sound quality, both on receive and transmit. They are very special transceivers. So the choice really is to bring a Kenwood in here, okay, to add that and show people what it's like to actually work a ham radio without a pan adapter screen, okay, to actually have to use your ears. That's a skill that we all need to still have because we're getting to look at scopes a lot and think, well, that's where the signal is. I need to just click there. That's a great tool, but there's so much you might be missing that the pan adapter screen simply can't pick up because it's such a weak signal. Okay. So with that said, what I'd like to ask is I've got two radios I'm between here. All right. Since we don't have to replace a computer, I'm between getting either the Kenwood 590 SG, which would give us a Kenwood. We'd have ICOM, Yaesu, Kenwood. We have the big three here. Or getting the Yaesu 450D, because that's a transceiver that people can start with. And it is a great rig. It really is. I mean, it's a radio that you could have even if you're in ham radio for 20 years. You can use a 450D and be very effective at ham radio because it is a great transceiver. It really is. And it's cheap. See, for new hams, they don't have a ton of money, right? So $500 gets them a great transceiver. And the 450D is a pretty darn good transceiver for the money. All right. So I'd like your feedback on that, whether we just add the Kenwood 590 SG and show how it works so people can see, how to control it, how to make it work, what it does, and the gift and the special talent of using your ears to hear the radio and bring in signals versus looking at a screen. All right. Or the 450D, which as well does not have a pan adapter screen. Would love to get your feedback. All right, we're going to talk about this product today from MFJ about how to be able to use an FTDX10, which has an RJ45 mic. Remember that? Showed you yesterday. Here is the microphone connector for the Yaesu 450D. We'll bring it up a little closer to the camera as I drop it all everywhere. Sorry. Live shows, sometimes things happen, but there's lots of mic cables and stuff all over the place here. All right, so here is the actual mic cable for a Yaesu 450D, right? Looks kind of like a LAN connector. It has 8 connectors to it. So there's 8 wires, okay? Now, that's not real common and real easy to find couplers for. MFJ makes a product. We're going to talk about it today, and we'll show how if you want to use, say, your standard Yaesu mic, maybe it's the regular 8-pin mic, how you can convert it and use that without doing anything to the radio. You don't touch the FTDX10. You just use this coupler to be able to make it work. But the brilliance of the product as well is if you want to really run some ESSB, which the FTDX10 can do, it will. You can get up to 3 kilohertz of transmit with a good microphone, can make a big difference in how your station sounds. This is the Electro Voice RE27. This is one of the highest of all Electro Voice, microphones. Used it yesterday. The sound was too bassy. Didn't like how bassy the show was. So we just went back to the 320. But we'll show you that product. And then this week, we will get it all set up. I'll show you how you hook it up. I'll show you exactly the right jumpers to put it in the box so you can make your Yaesu FTDX10 hook up to either a 8-pin mic or to an XLR. Let's look at your comments. Joe, Alpha Golf 7, X-Ray Hotel. I really love that call, Joe. Hi, Joe. Welcome to the show, man. It's great to see you. And Peter is here. Welcome, Peter. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you coming from wherever you are around the world. You honor me by your presence. Thanks for being here. I know the show isn't for everyone. So before we start everything out, let me let you know, this show is really about helping people to get into ham radio. And those folks that are in ham radio to help license up and find out about good products that might help them, whether they come from MFJ or Chameleon, they could come from Heil Sound. There's lots of things we reviewed here, but we're trying to find things that might be helpful to you. So before you spend the money out of your pocket, you can see and hear how it works, okay? It's kind of how it works. Tom is here from Bahrain. Goodness sakes, brother, it is late there, man. Thank you, Tom. It's an honor to hear from you, man. Yeah, and Dave from Temecula is back. David, hey, bud. He's Whiskey 6, Charlie Radio Tango. Dave, thank you so much for being here. Tom, by the way, is Alpha Echo 1 Tango Papa. In Bahrain, he is Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. Tom, thank you so much for being here. And Sean is here back from the UK. Welcome back, Sean. Welcome back. Thank you, man. What a treat. That's honorable to me, man. Thank you for watching the shows. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know they're not for everybody, and I think anyone that does a YouTube show and thinks they're going to please everybody is so misled, because you just can't do that. You have to go into this understanding it's not going to be for everybody. That's what he knows. Greg is here, all the way from Florida. Greg, wow. He's in Suwannee County, Florida. His call, Kilo Tango 4, Romeo Alpha Mike. Thank you so much for coming, Greg. Okay, today, going to work on some general exam questions to start the show. We're going to try and help folks license up. We have a few from the channel who are working on this. So, haven't done them in a little while. Let's get to that, okay? First question on the general for the FCC exam. What is one reason to use the attenuator function that's present on many HF transceivers? Now, for new hams or people who'd like to be in ham radio, you know, I always go back to the basics if I can. All right. First of all, HF is high frequency. High frequency is found in ham radio between 3 and 30 megahertz. It's special because that's a segment of the radio frequency spectrum that uses the ionosphere to be able to make contacts. So when our radios transmit, they don't transmit from one antenna to another antenna straight. They come bouncing up off of the ionospheric layer of the Earth. So HF, that's what it means, okay? So what's one reason to use the attenuator function on many high-frequency transceivers? The answer is A. It's to reduce signal overload due to strong incoming signals, okay? This is a really neat answer, and I'll give you a really simple way to show how it works, okay? Just give me a moment. All right, sorry about that. All right, so on your attenuator, when you have an attenuator and you're using it, okay, here's a rig. This is the ASU FTDX10. I simply have it hooked straight into the system, so it's easy for you to hear and see, okay? So take a look. Got a couple of signals here. Here's one right there. There we go. All right, tune it in there. Come on, buddy. You got it. You got it. I got to get this VFO a little tighter. We'll get this guy over here. All right, let's hit the attenuator real quick, and I'll show you exactly what it does. Here's the attenuator. We're going to turn it to 6 dB. Listen to what happens to the audio.
Not too much else going on over here.
Hear the difference? You see how it went down? Okay. The attenuator function on an HF radio is essentially to help bring down the sound of loud signals. So when you have a loud signal coming in, and maybe you've got a weak one close by, that attenuator is going to help to bring it down, the loud signal, so you can hear the little guy, the one that may be a long ways away that you'd like to work. That's how attenuators work, and that's why they're important in ham radio. All right, next question on the general. Here it is. Why is the F2 region mainly responsible for the longest radio wave propagation? Okay, coming back to the ionosphere, and this is in HF. Remember, we talked about how our signals in HF from 3 to 30 megahertz use the ionosphere, okay? So the F2 region is the highest region of the ionosphere. There are 4 regions if you count the daytime, and the daytime is when you have the D layer, which is the largest and most charged, okay? You have the E layer, which is higher up, and then you have the F1 and F2 layers, okay? The F2 layer is the very highest layer, and literally it's part of space. That's how high it is, okay? The reason why the F2 layer is responsible for the longest distance contacts is because it's the highest ionospheric region. Seriously, you're in space at this point. So imagine your radio signal going all the way up, hitting into space and coming back down. That's why the F2 layer is important. Keep in mind for new hams, when it's nighttime, the D layer completely disappears because the sun isn't there to charge it, right? The F layer, during the day is F1 and F2. They combine at night, so they just become the F region, okay? It's a little bit confusing, I know, but the best thing to remember there is D, E, F1, F2, okay? F2 is going to bring you the most because it's the highest up. That way it's going to bounce the farthest. All right, next question. Sorry about that. What factor or factors affect the maximum usable frequency? All right, so maximum usable frequency is the highest frequency we can use to make point-to-point communications, okay? Excuse me, that's how it works. So maximum usable frequency can be affected by path, distance, and location, okay? Also, the time of day and season. Big impact for maximum usable frequency. Dead of winter, summer solstice can really make the maximum usable frequency go very high, okay? Solar radiation and ionospheric disturbances. So if we have a solar flare, say for example, that can cause significant issues in the ionosphere and make it very unstable. Makes it hard for us to make contact. So all of those are actually correct. They do affect how the maximum usable frequency will work, okay? So when you're taking your test, just remember again, D layer, E layer, F1, and F2, okay? D layer is the densest and the strongest, okay? And it also attenuates or limits signals that are below 7 megahertz. So about 40 meters down, they won't work as far. You can still use them. They just don't work very far. They won't get all the way up to the E or the F layer, right? So keep that in mind. Nighttime, no D layer. E layer is still there, right as it was during the day, but F1 and F2 squeezed together. Remember that? You're going to be solid, okay? Next question. What is a possible benefit to radio communications resulting from periods of high geomagnetic activity? All right. Now, keep in mind the word benefit, okay? Benefit. So that would mean anything that's bad should be taken out of the answer pool, okay? So D, reduced long delayed echoes, no. It does not improve HF long path propagation. In fact, it hurts it. It does. When we have geomagnetic storms, it affects our 3 to 30 megahertz signals really bad. They can be very hard to do. However, on VHF, which is 30 to 300 megahertz, the Auroras can reflect them. Now, usually VHF is point to point, usually antenna to antenna. So say, you're 10 miles away, you make a call on a handy-talkie or on a base station, you can get somebody maybe 10 miles away without a repeater. But when you have geomagnetic activity that's pretty high, you can actually, if you have a directional antenna, point it north towards the aurora, and it will help to reflect those signals. You can actually make some DX. Pretty cool stuff. That's a benefit when we have high geomagnetic activity. All right, next question on the general for the U.S. How can a PACTOR modem or controller be used to determine if the channel is in use by other PACTOR stations? Okay. Now, to understand this, the best way to do it, I think, is to explain what PACTOR really is. Okay. PACTOR is a radio modulation mode. It's used in amateur radio. It's also used in marine, military, and government, okay? Homeland Security uses PACTOR, okay? It's a digital format that has basically combined both AMTOR and packet radio. That's why they call it PACTOR, okay? The two technologies basically use a combination of simple frequency shift keying modulation and the ARQ protocol for error detection. So think of it like a text message, but you're sending it over ham radio. That explains PACTOR, okay? If you use it, you're basically just sending text to somebody else that might be far away. But to make sure that this is being in use or not, you simply put the modem or controller in a mode which allows monitoring communications without a connection. I know that's a mouthful, okay? So the best way to describe it is just on your modem that connects right to your radio, okay? Goes right in through typically your mic input, okay? Because it takes your mic input, converts it to digital, okay? So just put it in a mode which allows you to monitor without transmit. That's basically the answer, okay? Next question on the general. And I appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much. You know, we try and come in every day at 11 o'clock Pacific, which is 20 UTC. And today you have my full apologies because it was not easy to do the show and get here on time whatsoever. All right. What's the reason why many amateurs keep a station log? You'll see logging a lot in the ham radio exam. Now, understand it is not legally required. You do not have to log. The FCC does not tell you you have to log, okay? That's important. However, you should log. Absolutely, you should log. And one of the reasons why is listed here. It's D, to help with a reply if the FCC requests information. Now, you may ask, okay, why would the FCC request information? Why would they want my log? Many times it could be a neighbor who all of a sudden has interference with something electronic in their home. And because of that interference, they call the FCC because they see your antennas. They know you're a ham radio operator. Having that station log handy can help show, well, look, you know what? I wasn't transmitting that day. I didn't transmit until Sunday or something, right? It helps to protect you. That's why station log is important. I'll get to your comments in just a moment. Hang in there, okay? Next question on the general. And we haven't got this one yet, which is interesting. You know, we've done a lot of Q codes. We haven't done this one. What does the Q signal QRL or Quebec Romeo Lima mean? Okay. Now the answer, believe it or not, if you're not used to hearing QRL, is are you busy or is this frequency in use? So a person could technically say, like in my case, K7HN QRL. You're asking if the frequency is in use. But just ask the question because a lot of people don't use this Q code and they may not know what you're trying to say. Just ask if the frequency is in use. But if you get this question, QRL, a good way to remember it is just to kind of think about a way to remember the letters, okay? You always know it's a Q code, right? All right. QRL. Think about this. Excuse me. I had to think for a moment. Thinking for a moment for Larry sometimes takes a little bit. Okay. Live. QR live. RU live. Okay, it's frequency in use. QR live. Okay. That helps you remember if the frequency is in use. That's how I use this Q code in the test and I didn't get this question, but I had that in my mind. QRL, Q, are you live? Okay. So, meaning is the frequency in use. All right, let's get your comments real quick. Tons of people joined us. Thank you so much. Greg, thank you for being here all the way from New Hampshire. Checking in from, Iowa. Thanks, Larry. Just got a new computer chair. Greg, congratulations. You know what? I think it was it Tom that mentioned that? I think it was Tom before. You know what? I can't stress enough the importance of a very good, comfortable chair for your shack. Seriously, you're going to be sitting there a while. Get something real comfortable that you'll enjoy. Greg, that's a good investment. That really is. And a smart move for a ham operator to have that. Well done. And we've got Gunter in the house. Welcome back from Germany, my friend. It's good to see you, Gunter. Thanks for being here, buddy. And Rod, welcome, my friend. He is Whiskey 3, Mike Papa Golf. Welcome back to the show, Rod. Thanks for the QSO yesterday. I enjoyed that very much. Thank you so much. And then Tom, check it out. And Gunter has a good YouTube video channel. Check it out. Saw a few videos on YouTube, saw your portable setup, like your way to haul your gear around. In the fact you have a 7200. That's good stuff. If you want to find Gunter's stuff on YouTube, by the way, he does a lot of things that are really helpful. And basically it's a 7300 with a 500 watt amp and a G5RV antenna. It's a wonderful setup. He does it at a club station. And this club station literally is in the attic of this building. okay? And he spends most of the night up there making DX calls. He's good at it, and he loves it. The 7300 just does well for him. So if you'd like to find him, he's at DK5ONV. Just search on YouTube, Delta Kilo 5, One Nice Voice, and you will have Gunter. And you'll see some of his work. He's really good at what he does. We got 2 more questions. I'm going to show you the biggest antenna you've probably ever seen. Okay? Seriously, hang in there. Here we go. Second to last question. What is the customary minimum frequency separation between single sideband? So SSB for new hams means single sideband. And that might confuse you because you're used to hearing upper sideband, lower sideband. Now there's single sideband too? No. Single sideband basically just is a way to describe both upper and lower sideband in the same term, okay? Single sideband because it takes just a single sideband of a typical call, okay? So you just have a lower sideband or you have an upper sideband. So it's single sideband. Don't let that confuse you, okay? So what's the customary minimum frequency separation between single sideband stations under normal conditions? It is approximately 3 kilohertz, okay? Sometimes it could go bigger than that. I know here on the 101 and the 5000, and someone's going to produce it for the 10 as well, how you can go 4K wide on those. I know some flexes could go 6 or longer. The new Elecraft K4, I believe, will go 5 kilohertz wide. But if you do something like that, please do so in an area of the band where you're not going to be interfering with somebody else, because you don't want to do that. You don't want to cause, because what happens is you're transmitting so wide, you're using an area that someone else could normally use, okay? So try and go someplace on the band where people aren't. That's the best advice if you want to go longer than 3 kilohertz wide. All right, last question on the generals today. Which of the following is an advantage when using single sideband as compared to other analog voice modes on the HF amateur bands? Again, HF means high frequency. That'll be 3 to 30 megahertz. Just a moment, please. Thank you. Okay, so the advantage to using single sideband, whether it's upper or lower sideband, is there's less bandwidth used and greater power efficiency. Thank you for the thumbs up again. My gosh. Thanks, guys. That's very nice. Okay, back in the 50s, everyone was using AM, just like in your car, okay? So AM in the 50s was 6 kilohertz wide or longer. It could be a little bigger at times, okay? So you had a center carrier, and you had a sideband over here, which was the lower side. And on this side, you had the upper sideband, okay? So that was the entire bandwidth of an AM carrier, okay? Now, you've got to transmit that entire 6 kilohertz or larger out, okay? By using sideband, only one sideband. So you're getting rid of the carrier and the other sideband, just using one sideband. It's actually much more effective, and it's much more effective to get out farther because you're transmitting at a lower bandwidth. Less bandwidth, easier to hear versus trying to pick up a big wide signal from, say, 5,000 miles away. All right. Welcome to the show. Catching up on your comments, and we're good to go, and we'll show you the biggest antenna you have ever seen in your whole life. I'm not kidding. This thing's gigantic. I mean, literally almost 4/10 of a mile big long, okay? So, Gunter, yes, you're very welcome. Chuck's here. He's Whiskey 9 Charlie Bravo. Mike, thank you for being here. And Gunter here from Germany, from Sheer Harbor Studio C. That's kind of cool. From Sheer Harbor Studio C Club Station. Welcome back, Gunter. All right, let me show you. Gigantic antenna. This will blow your mind. This is an antenna in New Zealand, and it's one of those places that's like the perfect place to live, okay? You're on a hillside. You've got acreage. You've got a great advantage. Now, most of us don't have this. But if you did, and you had the capabilities to do something pretty special, take a look at this. This is done for my friend Raleigh, who was on our show back in January. Raleigh's call sign is ZL1BQD. You'll find him on YouTube. Just Google search, or you can go on YouTube and search ZL1BQD. You'll find this video and a whole bunch more. Let me show you this gigantic antenna that's built by ZL3 Sierra Bravo.
Well, Gary, what I can see up there, mate, is a fantastic open wire feeder, for goodness sake, which goes right up there.
Yep.
Then this wire disappears for eternity down over the gully there.
Yeah, 320 metres that way and 320 metres that way. 640 metres, which is multiple wavelengths on ham bands, which is why I can use this antenna on all ham bands.
Hold on, Gary. Repeat that one again. How long is this jolly thing, for goodness sake?
Okay, from this point here, the centre fed point, it is 320 metres that way and 320 metres that way. So the total length is 640 metres, which, as you can see by the calculations, is multiple wavelengths. On 20 metres, for example, on 20 metres it has a gain over 16 dB.
Right.
Now, it's actually a little more than that, because being a sloper on the hill, on a flat plane, the angle of radiation is about 7 degrees above the end of the antenna. But because it's sloping down like that, it is basically tapering it straight off over the top of the mountains there.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. I'll just pan around and these are the mountains that we're in the background we're talking about, and you may be able to see a little bit of a wire.
Yeah, they're about
going
60 kilometres away, those mountains. And down below us is the Motueka River, and the water is so pure in there you can drink it straight out of the river. And the little town here of Motueka gets its water out of this river. Further out in the back there is the Tasman Bay Sea, and then beyond that is the city of Nelson.
Beautiful.
All right, so imagine building an antenna, and what he uses is aluminum wire, similar to what you would use, you'll see for power lines. Same stuff, same stuff. 320 meters one way, 320 meters the other way. 640 meters. That is over it's over 2,000 feet.
Let's go.
Yeah. Think about that. That's almost 4/10 of a mile. Okay. So just, I believe it's 2,089 or 2,099 feet long. And that wire is really set to handle tons of stress. Just incredible. 16 dB of gain. Great idea, and wonderful to show that you don't really need an amplifier. One of the things, if you'll watch that, and I'll put a link to that video in the description section here on this show, where he talks about he very rarely uses his amplifier. He just runs his 200-watt rig, and he makes calls. Imagine 200 watts with 16 dB of gain. My goodness, it's amazing. So that is Raleigh, and that is a good friend of his, ZL3SB. We appreciate that. Raleigh, thanks a lot for putting that on YouTube. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we're going to talk about a neat product that will help you folks who are got the FTDX10, okay, or the 450D. Both use the same mic cable, okay. There's a product that's made by MFJ. It's called the MFJ 1251, okay. This is what it looks like. Very small, okay. This literally is only about 2.5 inches by 3 inches, maybe 1.5 inches high. That's all it is, okay. So here is where you put your microphone in, either an 8-pin or you plug in the standard RJ45, okay. On the back, conveniently placed, is an RJ45. Now, what they do is pretty cool. You get a couple of pieces of cable, okay? One of them is a typical 8-pin Yaesu cable. The other one on the other side is the, sorry, the dogs are activating. We have to, as Thor would say, we got to activate the woofing filter.
Go!
So, all right, on the other end is another RJ45. Now, here is the beauty of this product. Let me show you real quick. let's say, for example, you have a FTDX 101, sorry, FTDX 10, okay? And you use this, okay? And we're going to have this on the show shortly. The reason we don't have it today is because I followed the instructions. I looked at everything. I was up late last night making the connectors for it so everything would work good, but it just wouldn't work. So the guy at MFJ who built this is off today, of course. So we'll get it built so it works properly. But here's where you got some value to this. Think about this. That's only $35. This box is like 35 bucks, okay? So what you do then, say you got the Heil connecting cable, okay? Here's your 8-pin. Here is your switch. Be able to make the call. And the beautiful part of the whole doggone thing is right here is your XLR connector. Now you can hook up a microphone that's got some real good punch to it. Imagine using something like the FTDX 10 with a studio quality microphone, whether it come from Electro Voice or Heil, could be a Shure mic, whatever you like to use, but having it be able to hook up that way. So we'll talk about that later this week. This is the MFJ 1251, a great coupler that you can use. It has little jumpers in it, so you can use any microphone at all and make it work to connect to your rig. All right, let's take a look at the band real quick, see if we can say hello to somebody. We'll say hello and goodbye to all of you before we close, and let's see if we can see anybody out on frequency today. Maybe make a new friend. We'll see. Keep in mind, I'm not tuning, I'm just using a resonant antenna. That is something Thor mentioned Sunday, and it does make a huge difference.
Yeah, as I told the other gentleman there, I said that if I ever get another radio, it's going to be that would be my next project there. I'm hoping that the CS990 will uplift me. So because I just like looking at it, it looks like a radio. You know, I really don't like SDR because of it's like being on a computer instead of a radio. I don't know. It sounds stupid, but I like coming in and pressing all the buttons on it.
K7HN. Just a quick check to see how much power I'm running, so.
Again, that'll be someday in the future. I'm not there yet either. But, maybe someday. I'm hoping that this radio will last me a long time because I'm really not looking to spend any more money on radio.
Kilo 7 Hotel November.
Was March of 2005.
They're not hearing us. We'll move over. This looks like somebody just started talking here. We'll see. And see you later, Gunter. Have a nice evening, buddy. A little better signal here.
It was to tell you I couldn't make a skit because I was tied up at the tire shop back on May 21st, 2019. So anyway,
We've got pretty bad little RFI spike nearby, so that's why I just tried to notch it out. Hear it? Noise blanker works a little bit there, but we're just right on RFI spike.
Those stations that everybody in North America, is hearing. Well, that's usually the guys with the stacks and all that kind of stuff. So the smaller antennas don't usually get to participate in that kind of thing. So our coverage is spotty,
And for people who just watched what I just did, that's just notching out just a little bit of noise there. That's all it was.
You should be lighting up North America pretty good when the band's open. Okay, John, I'll let you swing it on around. Thanks for the call this morning.
We're starting to lose him. Okay, we'll just move from there. And bear with me, I don't look at the waterfall. I keep my eyes closed as I tune, and so I've just tuned off frequency, and that's because I've got my eyes closed. I'm listening carefully to the signals. That's how I work a radio. I typically don't look at the waterfall. I just use my ears. Kilo 7 Hotel November for a quick one. Let me show you just exactly what I just did, because for folks that aren't in ham radio, and I did hear them hear me, okay, but here's what the issue is. On the passband, okay, you can see it in the gray up top with the orange V. See that? All right. There is some carrier, somebody is hitting something, or we just have some RFI. All right. Now, you can tune that out. See, if I turn the notch back off, you'll hear it. It's going to come back here. Now it's stopped, okay? So either someone was tuning or we had something going on, but you can look right on that gray area, and if you have a spike where somebody is maybe tuning up, making some noise, you can hit the notch and notch it out. Listen. See it? See the spike? It's right about the third zero under 7,000. See the little spike there on the audio? It shows us right where it is in the passband. So when it comes back, I'll just hit the notch. I'll tune it right to that spike, and the sound will get better. See the spike? Gone. That's how it works. That's how you effectively use a notch filter on a radio, okay? Whether it be a super heterodyne or an SDR. we're just not hearing him. Just not hearing him, so we'll move on.
Until he's done before he can, get his use into it. So that's good. I'm glad she's going at it. And then I also heard that she's studying for the extra, so that's good too. We're going to start that here pretty soon. I got to order the book and everything because we both want to get it anyway. And so we're going to be working on that probably here pretty soon. But yeah, not much else going on. We don't know whether tomorrow or Thursday we're probably going to make our once a month trip to St. Joe, Sam's Club and stuff, and we'll do all that. So we might be either tomorrow or Thursday, we might be on the air in the vehicle. So, because usually it's an all-day affair. We usually don't get out of there in time to get home for radio time, so we have to chime in on the vehicle there back to you.
Kilo 7 Hotel November.
The Hotel November, I guess. Okay, 6
Thank you. Kilo 7 Hotel November. Just for a quick one here, doing a live YouTube video, hearing you guys, and wanted to say hello to you real quick.
Okay, that's 27 Kilowatt 7 Hotel November. Is that right?
That's a QSL, Kilo 7 Hotel November. My name's Larry. My QTH is Independence, Oregon. You're about a 5'7" here into Independence today. Over.
Florida here about 15 miles. But anyway, good of you jump in, and Bob, I wonder if you're hearing Larry there. You just realized you may have your beam pulled away from Oregon. W3IDD,
QSL, could you give me your call sign? That's the one thing I'm missing. If you wouldn't mind giving me that, I would be very grateful. Over.
Hearing a little bit of audio, no signal though. But anyway, good afternoon to you there, over.
Yeah, good afternoon to you guys as well. Thank you so much for being on the show. The name of the channel is called Ham Radio Live. It helps to teach folks ham radio and those that are in it to license up. So thanks a lot for being on the show, guys. I don't have your call signs. Would you mind sending me your call signs? Over.
it's all the antenna. I don't know if you hear me anymore.
Okay, is that Kilo 6 Bravo Sierra? All right, QSL. Thank you very much, guys. I don't want to hold you all up. Just want to let you know we said hello, and thank you for the quick QSL. Appreciate your time, guys. I'll let you be. Kilo 6 Bravo Sierra and the rest of the group. Kilo 7 Hotel November and 3 continents from around the world. Say 73, and God bless you guys.
Okay, Larry, no problem at all. We'll get to working, man. And Bob, go right ahead and see if you got anything.
All right, there you go. So that's a quick QSO, and it's nice because we had a chance to be heard not only California but also in Jasper behind us. Radio Dog in the house. So also in Florida. That was nice. So we'll log that and we'll wrap the show. Want to thank you for coming. Again, coming up, we'll be doing, we'll show you how you can make the FTDX10 work with an XLR mic. Also, Morse code practice on the way. Heard from MFJ today. Going to be a little bit of time. Its problem is the Morse code teacher. It's called the Morse tutor. They're low. They don't have any good supply. So they're going to be sending that over. We're going to work on Morse code together and learn it together, okay? But I've asked them to send me a paddle and a speaker so we can at least start together. So that's coming up as well. Let me look at your final comments and we'll call it a very good day. Thank you for being here so much, everybody. All right, let's see. Noise floor around S3, S4. Yeah, not too bad. It's a vertical antenna. That's the way they are, Tom. I really miss my ZS6 BKW dipole. It was perfect how it was set up. I had it on my roof. It was about 24 feet up on an adjustable mast. Had it coming down to about 35 feet on both ends. And then literally it made like a triangle. And that sounds weird, but it worked. Man, that thing was a monster. It really transmitted well. I had a takeoff angle of right about 8 degrees with it. It was just brilliant. Love that antenna. Still have it. Just can't get the thing up high enough again. That's kind of tough. Hello, Systems. System Craigter. Good to see you. Thanks for being on the channel. Appreciate you coming today. Thank you. And Radio 7 Delta November from Russia is back in the house. There we go. 4 continents. That's great. Wow. What an honor. I just can't. I never get over the fact that 4 continents or more join this show. We try and do it daily to try and help people get on the air, and those on the air find some good products. And so thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. Sean, thank you for being here. Donald, bless your heart. Thank you again. And you know what I'm talking about. Don, thank you. I appreciate you very, very much. Don's call signs, Whiskey Alpha 2, Tango, Papa Uniform. Cannot thank you enough, Don. Thanks for your kind emails as well. Appreciate hearing from you. It's very nice. Kevin, thank you. His call sign, Great Britain, is M0MCL. Appreciate you very much. And Radio 7 Delta November is all the way in Russia. That's a joy. Sean, saw your show from yesterday. Small contribution made to help your PC. Oh, man. Sean, bless your heart. This is no lie. A lot of people sent money by PayPal after that show was done. I want you to know, I think I have it fixed. I'm going to refund your money because it's not that I don't appreciate it. I mean, really, this was like humbling to me how many people all of a sudden hit that PayPal. I'm refunding everything because I think I've got the computer fixed. I think I have it worked out where this computer will only be used for the streams, and now it will work. So far, so good. So I've refunded everybody money. Please don't worry about sending any more. I try not to monetize here. I don't do it because I don't like watching YouTube shows that monetize. I hate it. In fact, I'll usually just change because I'm not going to help support them by watching an ad. Did you know that's how it works? Yeah. When they have ads, they get a cut on the money that comes in. Now, it takes a lot of ads, a lot of views to be able to generate that income. But for me personally, I come for the content. I don't come for hearing what I'm waiting to hear and all of a sudden hearing a commercial. It drives me crazy. I just do this to give back. Isn't that okay? That's all. To help teach, help encourage people to come into ham radio, and do my best to help those in ham radio to find some pretty cool stuff that might help maybe make their shacks better. That's the whole purpose. Nothing personal, and there's nothing about me being special. I don't consider myself that at all. In fact, always before me, right underneath the screen where I'm looking at you, I have this sitting there every time. Every time. This has so little to do with me. It has everything to do with you. Thank you for all your help and all your kindness. I appreciate it. We'll be here tomorrow, hopefully at 20 UTC. Hold on, let me make sure of that because this is a busy week with my brother's cancer stuff and some other things that are going on. Let me just look real quick because I want to make sure I've got nothing scheduled for tomorrow during that time frame. I do. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow's show will be 2021. Tomorrow's show will be 2200 UTC. 2200 UTC. We'll be back here live and hopefully have the settings on this box so we can run it on a XLR on the FTDX10. Thanks for coming, everybody. My name's Larry. My call sign is K7HN, and it's an honor and privilege that you come. Man, I never expected this. I didn't. I'm just a simple guy. Thanks, everybody. All right, here's a sign-off for you. This comes from North Carolina, the United States. I hope you like it. It's interesting, and it shows why when you use UHF, more power is needed, okay? Take a listen to how much power this transmitter does to be able to get their signal out. Until tomorrow, everybody, God bless you. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is WNRW Television in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, North Carolina, coming to the end of another broadcast day. WNRW is owned by the Television Corporation of North Carolina. Our studios are located at 3500 Meyerly Drive in Winston-Salem. Our transmitting facilities are located atop Sourtown Mountain. WNRW operates on an assigned frequency of 657.25 megahertz visual and 661.75 megahertz aural, with an effective radiated power of 500,000 watts aural and 5 million watts visual. WNRW Television is an equal opportunity employer, and we invite your comments and suggestions concerning our operations. Some of the programs seen on WNRW are mechanically reproduced. We invite you to join us later this morning for another day of fine family entertainment here on WNRW Television, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point.
That's all, folks.